group that we do on the first and third Tuesdays of every month. A little plug in there for us. And I know there's another cancer support that goes on also besides his. But if you can be a part of any of those supports, it's really awesome and encouraging for each and every one, wherever you are on your journey. And as he said too, it doesn't matter if you're young in your journey, older in your journey, where you've been on this cancer walk. Cancer's not for wimps. I think we've heard that before. And my story of this journey walk, actually, I want to start back in 2007 BC, which before cancer. Was when I was at a girlfriend's house helping her get some things out of her home, and I was on the second floor. And I needed to go downstairs to use the bathroom. I fell down a flight of stairs, had 13 stitches, 10 staples in my head, and broke my left wrist. And ambulance ride to the hospital, veins were collapsing, and it just didn't look good. I had this big gaping wound in my head, and all the while prior to this, too, was my concern and my worry financially. How are we going to pay for any of this? We didn't have money, we didn't have insurance, we didn't have any coverage. And I had always asked God, what's going to happen if something really horrible happens in my life? And I didn't sense it then, but all the whole while on my journey was, trust me. Just turn to me, trust me. So throughout my whole journey here, where I am today, was a learning experience to find out who is my provider. And my provider wasn't in my husband, because he didn't carry the insurance from any work that he'd done that would cover us financially. So these bills were all mounting. Ambulance company was suing me because the $10 a month that I was paying wasn't enough. We lost our home. We were in Wisconsin. We've been here 3 years. We moved out here from Wisconsin 3 years ago. And through all the struggles of the financial and everything. So I heard about a program in Wisconsin. It's called Helping Hands program through the clinic. So be an advocate for yourselves too. Ask questions and continue to keep asking and finding out what kind of resources are out there. And I was a resource person. I was a care provider for other people. And now I had to have care for myself. And it's more difficult being one on the other end, having this care for yourself and then having to be that advocate for yourself. So I checked into this Helping Hands program, filled out the paperwork that I needed to see if I would qualify for any financial help or aid. And it came back that they were going to pay 100% of all of my medical, which had mounted up to thousands of dollars for that surgery and the stitches and everything that I had. And then they said it would also pay for the next 3 months to see any kind of doctors that I needed and my husband, or any other treatments that might need to be followed up. My doctor had been wanting me to have a mammogram for 10 years. Well, this is a perfect opportunity. I'll get that covered. And the day I had made my appointment to see my primary doctor, I had this rash on my chest. And I was rubbing it and itching it, and I felt this little BB. And I just knew. I knew that I knew. And so I went into my doctor. Rash had cleared up. And I do believe that it was God sending me that message too, to have this rash so that it would give me a heads up that there was something wrong. And she said, well, I don't think it's anything serious. I really, I think that it'll be okay. So we did the mammogram, and it came back that it was cancer. And the type of cancer that I had was a triple negative cancer. And when my husband was with me and the doctor said that, after that I heard nothing anymore, because I'm not a negative person. What do you mean triple negative? I didn't understand that. So what he explained to me was that it was like I had this cancer, like an outlet that you plug into a wall that just didn't have the prongs to be a receiver, to receive any treatments. So they had to mix this concoction for me, this cocktail that I had, and they called it the Red Devil. And I did that for 12 weeks, every week. First 3 treatments, I was so sick. Ended up in the hospital overnight, 1 or 2 nights, needing 3 or 4 bottles of IV to rehydrate me. I not only lost my hair, my eyebrows, I lost my fingernails and toenails. I mean, as I said, cancer is not for wimps. And it's a journey that each of us walks down, and we really don't know what it's going to turn out like. But we turn our lives over to trust someone else out there who's going to help us in the best way that they know how to deal with it. We're trusting somebody else to put a needle into us, to do surgery on us, whatever it is. So you give up a lot of control, you do a lot of research, and checking things out. And I'm so grateful to see the support that's here, that's come out on this rainy night, not only for support for one another, but the people here, that my cheering squad that's here. I am so grateful for them. I'm grateful for the doctors that are here. Even though all my treatments were in Wisconsin before moving here, I still needed to have follow-up doctors to come here to finish up for the things that I still needed. Mammograms, and had a port when I came that had to be taken out, and so many things that still continue. My journey, I'm at a little over 4 years. I'm coming up on 5 years. And they told me that once I hit my 5-year mark, I will no longer be a cancer survivor, but I will be free of cancer. And so for that, I'm so grateful for that, and it's a good day to be alive. One of the stories that I'm reminded of too was this mother who kept having children, knowing that she had this disease that she was going to pass on to her kids, and knowing that they would never live very long. And somebody once asked her, how can you keep having these kids and watching them die? And she said, I never once watched my children die. I watched them live. And I think that's what it is with cancer too. We have Helen here, who's come out to support and hear me too. Helen, can you hear me? She's one of our cancer support members. She's 98 years old, 4 years cancer survivor. So grateful for every day that we have. And when I told my cancer doctor, when I went through my treatments and the chemo, my hair never came back quite like I liked it. It was still kind of thin. It's still curly like it was. The same color came back. Everything else was the same, but a little bit thinner. And I told my cancer doctor that, and he said, Sharron, you didn't go for a perm. Yeah. Although it smelled like it sometimes. One of the things my husband used to say too was that after the chemo that I could smell a hummingbird fart on the other side of the glass window. That you're just so different in your taste and smells and just everything. So I'm grateful for everybody that's here, and as Brad had mentioned, I want to open up the mic to anybody else who would like to share their cancer journey. And thank you again for coming out in this weather.